Welcome back. Well, on day 3 of the World Cup, Argentina are facing Iceland at this hour. We have complete coverage of all the action. Patrick Snell is here with me in studio. Matthew Chance is in Moscow on our big wall. You can see there. Well, Patrick, first we've got to start with the Socceroos versus France.
Lynda.
It was upsetting as an Australian.
You'll be feeling hard done by. Yeah, Australia, they looked like they were going to get a point from that game, but I tell you what, this is a big historic moment for the sport of football at a FIFA World Cup. Why? Because for the first time we've actually seen VAR technology, video assistant refereeing technology, coming to the fore in this game. And I have to say, it all went rather smoothly, depending on your side of the opinion. But let's get to the action and actually show you how it played out between France, the 1998 winners. This is the incident that led to the opening goal. You can see Antoine Griezmann there is caught by Aussie defender Josh Risdon. And you can see the chain of events here. The ref initially waved away the appeals, but after consultation, it is awarded. The Uruguayan ref, Andres Cunha, pointed to the spot, and it was dispatched by Antoine Griezmann. The next goal of the game, the Aussie equaliser, you'll have enjoyed that one. It's Samuel Umtiti with a handball there. I don't quite know what he was doing with his hands raised above his head, but Mile Jedinak put it away. And then there was time for the game winner from France, Paul Pogba with a deflected shot. This, again, another form of technology, goal line technology. The whole ball, remember, Lynda, has got to be over the line. It is, but only just. And France end up winning 2-1. But I tell you what, it was nervy stuff. I think at this point we should remind viewers exactly when VAR, when it actually comes into play. There are 4 triggers, if you like, for it. We saw there, penalties, goals themselves, straight red cards, and a case of player mistaken identity as well. Important viewers know that, because through the next few weeks at this FIFA World Cup, we're going to be seeing more and more incidents. But look, France have got the win, and technology has played its part. It is a highly significant and highly historic day for organisers of the FIFA World Cup, because as President Gianni Infantino, all along in the months leading up to the tournament, wanted to make that his baby. He was very keen for VAR to be played at a World Cup, to see it in force for the first time, and we've already seen it on day 3 of the tournament.
Quite incredible. And the match, of course, underway right now. We've got Iceland, one of the world's smallest countries there, competing. They've got a dentist as their part-time coach, and they're taking on Argentina, 2-time World Cup winners.
Yeah, Heimir Hallgrimsson is the head coach, and he's keen to say and remind everyone he's also still a dentist as well. Just before we get to that, remind viewers, Group C, we can see that later on in the day we've got Peru, Denmark. But that game in progress right now, Argentina, 2-time champions of the world. It is currently 1-1, I believe, in that game. Sergio Aguero, the Manchester City star, put the South Americans ahead. Iceland would equalise through Alfred Finnbogason. You know what? Their resilience is so strong. We learnt this from Euro 2016 when they got to the quarterfinals. They are team bonded, I think, by the fact, Lynda, they are the smallest country at the World Cup by population of 330,000 or so. In fact, I'm just hearing that Lionel Messi has missed a penalty in that game. So it's still 1-1. Of course, Messi's a great story in his own right. He's won everything when it comes to Barcelona. But when it comes to his country, Lynda, at senior level, he is desperate to try and get that first win on the board. He's won nothing with the Argentine senior team. He was upstage yesterday on Friday after that Cristiano Ronaldo super show for Portugal. These two players have this big rivalry. They'll never admit to it personally, but we all know it's a huge rivalry. One does not like to be outshone by the other. Ronaldo striking first blood with that sensational hat-trick. Messi missing a penalty in that game. That does not bode well for him or Argentina. Their preparations going into this tournament have not been good at all. They had that scheduled friendly with Israel. That was cancelled at the last moment. Their only warm-up game of note, in fact, was against Haiti, and they won that one very easily, 4-0. That wasn't the sternest of warm-up events, but Messi, he's also suffered the pain. Do you remember 4 years ago? He was in the final with Argentina. They lost to Germany in Brazil. Argentina have got a lot to prove. They're 2-time champions of the world. Back home, they are expected to get right deep into this tournament. And if they fall short again, there is going to be a huge backlash. Still time to turn this around. But Lionel Messi on a personal crusade, I think, particularly when you weigh in the fact of Ronaldo, as I just mentioned.
Horrible missing a penalty shot, but I'm glad you stepped away from the game to pop into studio for us.
I want to get back to it now.
I know. Just stand by just a couple of minutes. I want to go to Matthew Chance, our bureau chief in Moscow. Of course, Russia there smashing Saudi Arabia when the World Cup kicked off. How's the atmosphere been there on day 3?
It's been absolutely incredible. In fact, I don't think it could have started any better from the Russian point of view. From Vladimir Putin's point of view, of course, the Russian president. This is a big prestige project for him that he hopes will draw a line under the isolation and the negative publicity that his country has generated over the past couple of years because of its various actions around the world, not least the annexation of Crimea in 2014 and the support for Bashar al-Assad in Syria, which has perpetuated the war there and brought Russia a lot of international criticism, not to mention sanctions. For the Russian people, though, I mean, they had very low expectations going into this competition that their team was going to do anything at all, even score a goal. But they scored 5 against Saudi Arabia in that incredible first match to kick off the tournament. And, you know, football fever has really gripped the nation as a result of that, not just with the fans coming in from overseas, but with Russians themselves, although I'm not sure how optimistic they are that the team is going to advance much further in the tournament. But football fever has very much gripped the country. And, you know, quite cynically, I think, the Russian government has used that opportunity to sneak in some controversial pension reforms, raising the age of pension here to 65, which is more than the average life expectancy of a Russian male. So it's a controversial reform that's been sneaked in as everybody's watching the football.
Hoping that everyone will be distracted by that. Well, we will talk about that much more coming up next hour, hopefully. Matthew Chance for us in Moscow, Patrick Snell for us in studio. Good to have you both with us. Thank you very much. We have to leave it there for now. That was CNN Newsroom. Thanks so much for joining me. I'm Lynda Kinkade. African Voices is just ahead, but first I'll have a quick look at your headlines.